have justice for Remington and the rest of the children that is in the Department and Family Children Services to come home to their families where they belong.
Yes.
We want the rest of the children home back with their families. Justice for all.
Absolutely. I feel your pain.
We came here January 23rd. We walked here inside the State House, me and Hazel, to get some sort of justice to be heard because they're so corrupt. Lori McNeil out of Lawrence, DCF is corrupt. Laura Brody, the Regional Eastern Department of Children and Families Director, is corrupt. We came here asking for help. We had Olivia. We didn't come empty-handed. Let me explain to you. We didn't come empty-handed. We came from Maura Healey. We gave her gifts, beautiful gifts. We knew she liked basketball. We bring her everything from the Celtics. What happened was that they never let Maura Healey see me or my daughter. What they did was they accepted the gifts. They got us in touch with Olivia, her assistant, who got in touch with the same person that she was speaking to from the Ombudsman office. We got in touch with Jennifer Green. She's the director of the Ombudsman office.
Nothing's happened. They're still withholding the child.
They're still withholding the child. And then on top of that, we're back at square one with no lawyer. We need a lawyer. We need baby Remy home.
We have lawyers here. We also have journalists who want to hear your story. She came all the way from California to be here today, ladies and gentlemen. He's being abused.
And they never took me to a doctor after showing them the pictures of the abuse. Thank you and everything.
We will get your story. Don't leave. There are independent journalists here who want to hear your story. There was also another woman here earlier where we need you to tell your story to a journalist later, okay? Right now, I would like to welcome, put your hands together. Where is this man? He's so elusive. The fearless, the one, the only national treasure of truth, Jeffrey Cooter!
Very much. Sorry I'm late. I got stuck in major traffic.
Nick, right here.
Off
Yeah.
the parking garage at the Common.
Yeah.
I don't think that was an accident. No, I don't.
Right.
Okay, so for everyone out there, before we begin officially to kick off today's very important rally, the police are saying we have to have a clear sidewalk or else they're going to have to get involved. So please step a little bit forward.
You know who made the
Very
call.
law-abiding,
Haley
obviously very
Wheelie.
peaceful. Let me
Gonna
be
call me this
perfectly frank
brigade.
with all of you.
That's a
When
fact.
Black Lives Matter was running wild and torching
Just an
cars
idea.
and destroying businesses and actually shooting at the police, I didn't hear any warnings from the police.
There
Let me
you
just
go.
be brutally honest.
Yeah.
When they're keying Tesla cars and
It's up
torching
your nose with the rubber hose,
shooting up Tesla dealerships, suddenly they don't care if the sidewalk is full.
Exactly.
It's true. It's okay. They have their orders. I understand.
Yeah, it doesn't make it
But
right.
The
Right,
harassment campaign
Lieutenant
is not
Kelly?
going to work. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work. And so, my friends,
Termination.
the reason why we're all here today is because the politicians behind us in this state legislature, which is supposed to be, at least in theory, the people's house, is corrupt to the core.
That's right.
And we're here to put every single member of that state legislature and every single member of the Department of Children and Families, but above all, that clown woke of a governor who is a disgrace to the people and taxpayers of Massachusetts and to the people and taxpayers of this country. That Boston is rising. And just as we recently celebrated just a week ago, actually less than a week ago, the historic 250th anniversary of Paul Revere's ride,
Here we go. His mentor,
warning, the British are coming.
Michael Savage.
The British are coming. Tyranny is at the door. What you're seeing here,
Smash.
and I'm telling you, we've got a big, big announcement
Hulk
to make,
smash.
is the opening shot of the Second American Revolution. And we are here to tell the corrupt politicians on Beacon Hill, to tell Maura Healey, to tell the Department of Children and Families, and the Department of Children Protective Custodies in states after states, that your days of running wild and tearing apart families and kidnapping children from good, decent parents is over. It's over. And so we've got an incredible lineup of speakers. You're going to hear from them. You're going to hear about this historic announcement that is not just for Massachusetts. It is going to be in state after state after state. It is one of the most important grassroots initiatives in the last 50 years of this country. And so, before I start inviting speakers, we are here for many reasons today. But the primary reason is not just to reclaim our rights and to defend parental authority and parental consent and the dignity and autonomy of the family and the fundamental rights and liberties of American citizens. But we are here to reunite the Rivera family. Izzy and Kathy are two decent, salt-of-the-earth American citizens. Their only crime is that they love their children, literally. And they have 5 beautiful children. 10, 9 years old, 5 years old, 4 years old. And the one that's now at the heart of this scandal, and I'm telling you right now, the media can try to cover it up, the corrupt police can try to cover it up,
Bring them all here.
and the corrupt politicians here can try to cover it up. But this scandal is so egregious and
Yes.
so bad
Yes.
and so flagrant, they can't cover it up. These are 2 homeschoolers
Wow.
with 5 children, and they decided
What's
they have a 9-month-old baby boy, healthy. Even the pediatrician who treated them wrote in his notes, this has been repeatedly reported, it's indisputable, that the baby, in the doctor's words, healthy, well-fed, well-cared for. In fact, a happy baby. It's a beautiful little baby. And Izzy and Kathy made the decision, as parents have the right to do in a free country, to say, we don't want to give them school-mandated vaccinations. Thank you, but no thanks. Because after all, it's not the government's baby, it's their baby.
They use Ketchman. They use DCF Ketchman
Did you
here.
not?
That's what they do.
For this quote-unquote crime.
Yep.
And that's the only quote-unquote crime,
Wow.
which is not a crime.
My daughter was taking the state lines at 15 to be with the
This
lesbian. by her
scumbag
mom.
of a doctor, and that's
And
what
the
he is, he's
Plymouth
a
police
scumbag,
were okay with it.
literally threatened Izzy and Kathy to their face.
Wow.
Izzy
My
and
daughter
Ruth,
was on the-
Izzy
at
and
Logan
Ruth,
Airport
thinking
on a
about another
plane,
case.
Nicholas.
By the way,
Okay?
seriously,
Taking
we
off.
got
She was
another
trying to get
rally
out of
in
this
3 weeks.
Catchment
It's
area.
almost a rally a week now. There are so many abuses.
And then,
So I'm already
what do you
picking
think
the next
happened?
one.
Heroin, fentanyl. Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have other people get into the details. But he's from Iran, trained in Iran, trained in Tehran.
Mama's love.
And Izzy and Ruth said, look, we just don't want to vaccinate our child. If you're not comfortable, we'll go to another pediatrician. I don't see how much more reasonable parents can get.
Black
He
Lives Matter.
threatened them, Izzy and Ruth, to their face and said, either you let me jab your children, your child now,
Holy
or
mackerel.
I'm filing what they call a 51A. That means a report to DCF in which they're mandated to come to your home and take your child away from you. And so, they took their child out of the doctor's office, again, very polite, and said, please don't do that.
Where
We're
are
going
they?
to go to another
Where are they,
doctor."
Aristotle?
What did this sleazebag
Where are
do?
they, Blues Clues?
DCF 51A.
Horrible.
DCF came with an army of police
Wow.
in Fitchburg, just an hour north, knocking on the door, saying, let us in, we want your child.
Wow. Who's this?
They said absolutely not. So you know what they did? They came back the next day, this time with more police, more guns, more DCF.
They bring the guns.
Ruth was hiding in a closet with her 5 children, petrified that they were going to seize all 5 of her kids. For
Horrible.
what?
Horrible.
For what?
Gotta stop.
For what?
They're Nazis.
For what? Because they didn't want to vaccinate their 9-month-old baby? Izzy and Ruth then made the decision. Let's go to Texas. Let's take our children to Texas. The mother and the father, a loving couple for 15 years, said, we're taking our children to Texas. What did these scumbags at DCF and right behind me do? They contacted Texas Child Protective Services and said, there's a warrant for their arrest. We want the parents, we want the children, we want them now. And so, Texas police, with their custody, their Children of Protective Services, kicked the door down, arrested Izzy and Ruth in front of their children, terrorizing and traumatizing the children. Izzy was held 30 days in jail. By the way, where were his due process rights? To all you moonbats, you care about some MS-13 criminal illegal alien. You cry for him. What about Izzy's rights? What about Ruth's rights? What about their due process? As I like to say, you phonies, you frauds, you.
Right.
Izzy was not able to see his 5 children for 30 days.
Jesus.
Still in jail.
He's still in jail.
Jesus.
7 weeks. 7 weeks he has not seen his children. He is now in a jail here in Massachusetts. Has not been able to see his children. They have cut off all communication that he can have with the outside world. 4 of his children have been handed over to the grandparents. The 9-month-old baby boy, the healthy, well-fed, well-loved baby boy, has now been given to the sister of Ruth. They have now temporarily lost custody of their children. Here is what they're planning to do. To show you how authoritarian, how dictatorial, how abusive DCF has become, and why this scandal is going to tear this agency to the ground. They are now threatening to put Izzy and Ruth in prison for 5 years each. On the grounds, listen listen to this. Even by DCF standards, I gotta say, I gotta hand it to the Moonbats back there. Even by their standards, this is creative. Seriously. On the grounds of, this was familial
I'd
kidnapping.
like to have that dome.
Familial kid. A mother and a father have kidnapped their own children. Because apparently you can't take a trip with your children to Texas. So, 1 count, 1 year in prison for each child, 5 years in prison, and the permanent loss of custody of all 5 kids. I wish this was a one-off horror story. But as you just heard earlier, and you're going to hear now from some incredible speakers, it's not a one-off. This is
By the way, I mean
every
it.
single day.
Wow.
DCF in this state, Child Protective Services in state after state after state.
Stick the gangs
Where
after
good,
me.
decent parents are being persecuted, targeted, and their
Right.
families torn apart
Happened last time, Nicholas.
because
Yeah.
they will
Yeah.
defend
The Latin
their children
kings, the
against
other,
these corrupt gangsters at DCF who have a financial interest to claim as many children as they can. Well, we are here now to tell them the corruption stops now.
Hey, that's where Antifa came from.
We are not asking. We're not here to petition a request. We are here to demand that Izzy and Ruth Rivera are released. All charges are dropped. And that their 5
I'm looking for
beautiful
Attorney
children
Hession.
are reunited
Where's Attorney
with the
Hession?
people they should be, their
Where's
mother
Attorney
and
Hession?
their father.
I actually went to his house
So let me
in
end by
Palma
saying
Thorndike. He wanted me to stay there and be his. I traveled there with my dog
in a few
Brownie.
minutes.
I did?
What DCF, what the Democrats, what the progressives and the communists in this state and in this country are trying now to enshrine
So I didn't know how to use it.
is that they are now trying to claim that our children are ultimately a property of the government. That the government owns our children. Well, I got news for them. It's not the government's child. It's our children. And we will stand up and defend parental consent, parental authority, and the God-given rights of parents to raise their children as they see fit. So, Cooter Country, I want to thank all of you for coming.
He remembered me.
Yeah.
I want you to know,
He remembers
on
me.
this issue, the majority of Massachusetts is behind us. The majority of America is behind us.
99.99%.
And I have just reached out to the Trump administration, to the Trump Department of Justice.
My DNA is my DNA.
And I'm asking the President and Attorney General Pam Bondi to stand with us.
Yes! Where are you, Pam Bondi?
Trust me when I tell you this, we're going to make some history. We're going to make history today. There is a bail fund. Thank you. Okay, so there was a Give, Send, Go, forgive me. Okay, so there was a Give, Send, Go page for Izzy. Because Izzy needs to get out of jail, and they put his
Oh
bail.
shit, where's my bag?
By the way, they
Oh my
put his
God.
bail for murder. Like right now, bang, not that I would ever do it, but bang, $25,000 bail. That's what they gave Izzy Rivera. So they're raising a lot of money for him. Now you know what they've done? They've frozen his Give, Send,
Oh,
Go.
of course.
They've frozen it. because they're afraid he's going to reach his 25,000. They don't want him out. You know why? Because he may come on shows like mine,
Yeah, he's a threat.
and he may blow the whistle because he knows the truth, and he's going to speak the truth. So there is a fund here to help Izzy
Academia,
get out
technocrats,
of
judges.
bail so he can get out of jail,
Minister,
see
Mr.
his parents,
Zucker.
see his wife, see his lawyer, and get a proper adequate defense.
The
So
shacklers.
please, whatever you can give generously. All right, Joan, who do you want me to go to first? By the way, she's incredible. Joan Queen Eastman.
Thank you.
She's very modest. She literally broke this story in the Boston Broadside. This story was picked up by the American press, by the national media, outside of the incredible Boston Broadside. No other local press or media outlet
But of
dares
course.
to touch this story.
Yeah.
That's right. No, you're right. Where's Channel 4? Where's Channel 5? Where's Channel 7? Where's 10? Where's 25? Nowhere. You know why?
Channel 7
Because they're
investigate.
here to cover up for the crooks and gangsters at DCF. That's why. But it doesn't matter. This has now gone above the local media. This story is too big. They cannot suppress it. And the lady that broke the story and told the story was Joan
Thank
Queen.
you. Thank you.
For the salvation of this country. I'm telling you.
Yes.
So, all right, Joan, you're
Salt of the earth.
it's like my home. I'm furious in the head. My wife runs everything. Joan really runs everything.
They do. First of all, thank you so much for your contributions. We'll pass that bucket around. We got to get this father out of jail so that he can defend his family, his case, and the truth. So we have a terrific lineup of speakers here. We have some very important announcements to make. But before we
gotta know
get
the
going,
next.
there is someone that has to leave early. John Bowden and Julie Boris, please come up here just for a quick minute. Julie Boris and John Bowden have made absolutely incredible strides to fight vaccines, to fight for the religious and medical exemptions. Come on up here real quick. Julie, do you want to, this legislation that keeps being proposed for us to be vaccinated against our will and to take away our exemptions, it's kind of like whack-a-mole meets Caddyshack, and
Yep.
every time you think you need to it's
They're
just
like
ridiculous.
whack-a-mole.
How many more years do we have to stand up here and say we don't want this? Rebecca Rausch has reintroduced this legislation 6 years to Sunday. The people have said they don't want it. The legislators have said they don't want it, and she keeps pushing it through. So, Julie, would you like to introduce John? Or you
Because
want
Diddy Diddy Do does what Diddy
Okay,
Diddy
John
Do.
Bowden has a book here. It's available over there.
And
Buy it.
Epstein do,
Listen to
too.
what this man has to say. It's amazing.
Okay. You gotta go right into that. There are people around the world who know who I am. I don't do it much in Massachusetts, but I looked at all the death records in Massachusetts. I can tell you what people died from. 90% of the COVID deaths were fraud.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
One force trauma to the head, one force trauma to the torso, acute fentanyl overdose, COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Most people here don't know my history with DCF. I went many rounds with DCF. It took me 6 years to get custody of my kids.
Nothing
My
like
lawyer
me.
is here, Greg Hession.
Yep.
He
I
sat
went
right
to his
over
home.
there. They took his license to practice
Yes, they did.
for 2 years in the middle of my case because he tried to protect the girl from being taken by
And they were
DCF.
gutter sniping him. And
So
that
they
was
came
like
in and got him later. They took his license.
a lot of people.
They get about 30 grand a year per child from the federal government to take kids away. So their job is to take kids away. It's federal incentives
Where's
to
Trump
make
on
everything
this?
happen. In addition to that, they'll sit outside somebody's house at 3 o'clock in the morning and wake up the kids, check them, check their bodies, with nobody ever saying anything happened to them. Why? Because they want their overtime paid for 3 o'clock in the morning. They're evil people. Every single one of them. You sit in a room with them, you can feel it. They're incredibly evil.
Yep.
With regard to vaccines in Rivera, God bless him for not vaccinating his kids. Just one last thing. Chapter 1 in the book, Cassidy Baraka was 7 years old. The only thing it said on her death record in part 1 was that she died of COVID. She reacted to the vaccine in 5 minutes, vomited for 8 to 10 hours. They gave her a second vaccine. Terrible abdominal pain, 103-degree fever. She was dead in 5 days, and they told everybody to go get your kids vaccinated. They lied to everybody. I'm at the first circuit of my appeal against the governor, public health commissioner, chief medical examiner, and 4 individual medical examiners for fraud on death records. I think my time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. I just want to point out that those vaccines, COVID-19 vaccines, are still being given to babies
They're on
and
your
pregnant
commercial.
women. 3 shots by the time I believe they're 9 months old.
You makes me burst.
So my name is Julie Boris. I am the co-founder of Health Rights Massachusetts, and I'm going to be real quick. So we've heard today there is very dangerous bills moving through the legislature right now that violate parental rights, religious, and medical freedom. They have been filed for the 4th session in a row. We are going on year 7 of this
How is it that the people
it's
on-
getting exhausting.
Giving those, how is it
These
the
bills
people
through
don't put things on the
for all
ballot?
schools, public and private, and this has already happened in
Put it on the ballot,
California, New
American
York,
people.
Maine, and Connecticut.
Right?
But some good news, states like New Jersey and Hawaii have
Right.
pushed back, and they have kept their religious exemption
Yep.
because of massive public pushback.
Right.
There are bills
You have
that
to,
would
you
allow
know,
all minors to
like
consent
children
to
ask, you know, the number one thing,
preventative
why?
care,
Okay?
vaccination and sterilization without parental knowledge or consent, regardless of age. Preventative care could really mean anything. Let that sink in. I don't know a parent in the world that thinks that this is a good idea. This is massive government overreach. And if people don't wake up, if this doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will.
Be aware, be alive.
I want to add one point that most people don't know. In Massachusetts, so far, there are 41 school-based healthcare centers. Anybody know about those? Well, it's happening. So they would like to give medical providers would deliver comprehensive health assessments, physical exams, screenings, sexual and reproductive health, immunizations, prescription management, lab tests, emergency triage, I'm okay with that one, and respond to public health emergencies. Behavioral health also, I don't know, is this what we want for our kids in school?
Absolutely not.
So you really just have to wonder, why do they want
We have
minor
to
consent so
do the
badly?
not.
Okay, so just in response to these very bad bills, there is a bill, an act relative to bodily autonomy and family integrity. It protects the fundamental right of all people of Massachusetts to make their own health decisions for themselves and their family without coercion. It says, no person may
I'm videoing.
mandate
I'm taking a video.
require,
Yeah, I'm
force,
actually
so
filming.
much.
Thank
I was
you.
filming it the entire time, yeah.
Love it.
Filmed it the entire
You are
time.
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're awesome, Nicholas.
Yeah.
Persons have a fundamental right to bodily autonomy and self-determination, making health decisions for themselves and their minor children. Please support this bill. We have another bill that prohibits the requirement of COVID-19 vaccine, mRNA vaccine, and gene-altering procedures. There are several state groups that are working to oppose these bills. Health Rights Mass is one of them, Health Action Mass is one of them, and Mass Family Institute is another, and there's more. So please support, join one or all of these organizations. They're organized and they're fighting back. And one last action, you can find someone with this clipboard. We have a petition that you can sign addressed to Maura Healy and the Department of Public Health. No more COVID vaccines for children. None of our taxpayer dollars spent on COVID-19 for children. So thank you, everyone. Please get involved. Thank you so much, Jeff Cooner and everyone that put this together tonight. And Joan, I really appreciate it. It's great to stand here with you.
Plymouth, America's hometown. Is this Plymouth? Wonderful.
DCF sucks, right? DCF sucks. DCF sucks. DCF sucks.
I want some of that. Evil. 100% certified, qualified evil. Monsters.
Whose children? Whose children? Whose children?
Oh, yeah, they destroyed my daughter, okay? She was speaking up in the courts. Okay? This is Plymouth, okay? Victor Higgins, you ever hear of this guy? Victor Higgins, a prosecutor? Okay? Mark Higgins, okay, his son, okay? I put out all, I even called the police, okay? And say, there's a special police in help for this, okay?
You know the Jenny House? Jenny House.
Yeah, the Jenny, Chris,
Christina Vieira is going to sit there.
maybe 3 months. People say
Healthy vibes.
People say I'm one of the best people. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I used to have to wait to pick up my kids there.
Everything Nicole comes out with 2 years early, and I told him, we got 2 conservative candidates getting they're both running for school committee. So we can
Forever and ever, amen. You see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed
From America's home.
at the twilight's gleaming,
Sandy and
whose broad stripes bright stars through the perilous fight. Ramparts we were so gallant
in the Pacific here. They flew.
and the rockets red
It's like the Santorini, Unbroken, you know that story behind the when the war ended,
through the night that our flag was still
freedom right.
that star-spangled banner yet waved. For the land of the free and the home of the Hands off our kids! Hands off our kids! Hands off our kids!
DCF torpedoes!
Absolutely. Let's give another round of applause for Chris Snyder. My next guest.
I put it all out there.
Listen,
Now,
this
can I
show
also
obviously needs no introduction.
Yeah, it's
She was on
limited,
last
okay?
week.
It is.
She did an absolutely outstanding job. She has written one of the best poems on this scandal. She is an incredible citizen journalist. She is also the co-founder of American Made Foundation and American Made Action. Both her, it's a team, it's a duo, but let me introduce the first one. She's got just a force of nature, Maureen Steele. Maureen, come on up. And It was American Made Foundation and American Made Action
Okay.
that is literally
Do you know
sponsoring this
Melissa
rally.
Arigi?
So I want to thank
the town manager?
and they flew up from Florida. They arrived this morning at 8:30. Just to know. So Maureen, a big thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Thank
It's certainly a pleasure to be here, and thank you all for turning out for this
Thank
really
you.
just a historic day. And I need to use my note card, so I.
So much information.
We have a very important announcement today. Ann is going to talk more about what we're going to do. We have our director of the legal council here. He'll also speak to give you an idea of the
Yeah, she works for the Broadside.
250 years ago. You can't hear me? Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
250 years ago, this very week, on April 19, 1775, the first shots of the American Revolution rang out at Lexington, just down the road from where we now stand. Farmers, blacksmiths, and shopkeepers faced down tyranny with nothing but muskets, courage, and the conviction that liberty was worth dying for. They had no army, no media, no one, just each other, and the will to be free. Today, in this very city, the once cradle of liberty, we stand again at a crossroads. The muskets may be gone, but the tyranny has returned. It doesn't come wearing red coats. It comes wearing robes, badges, and names. It comes wrapped in bureaucratic authority and delivered through alphabet agencies that trample your rights, your children, your future, and call it law.
Right.
Let me be perfectly clear. We the people have had enough.
That much. Stuff.
This is why we are here today.
I wrote my intellectual
Officially announce
property.
the rise of a movement, not a protest, not a trend,
Yeah.
but a historic,
I want it
lawful,
back. They won't give it
unstoppable
back.
movement for
All the
accountability,
collaterals and everything,
justice,
citations, okay?
With American-made action, a grassroots force forged from the fabric of American people. We are farmers, lawyers, teachers, veterans, mothers, fathers. We are organized and executing coordinated national efforts to root out corruption from the ground up and the top down.
Yes!
To that end, we are proud to introduce the Department of Government Accountability, DOJA. DOJA is not campaign slogan, it is not a watchdog, it is a sledgehammer of justice.
Yes!
It is coming for corrupt judges, brokers, fake courts, and all the unelected tyrants who treated the Constitution like an
Pitchforks and
inconvenient
torches.
speed bump on the road to tyranny. You violated your oath, we're coming for you.
That
You
was what I
threatened
wrote.
children under the guise of state
And the
protection,
judge had it
we're
right on
coming
his
for you.
Right.
You laundered money through NGOs and weaponized justice against the people.
Who stole
We are
it?
coming for you, and we are bringing the law with us.
Presented as evidence. And they cited DCF and seen that too.
Not in our republic.
In the testimony.
Not anymore.
They can't make it up.
And to enforce the law, we have created under DOJA the
It's
United
all
Law
true.
Coalition.
Certifiably,
Christopher Burns is the director of that.
incontrovertibly, without a shadow of a doubt,
After
inescapable.
Ann. It is a nationwide
How you doing, Double?
network of attorneys,
How you doing?
Bill.
paralegals,
Bill,
and law
what's up?
scholars
Not much.
who are tired of
Just
being
listening.
spectators
Yeah, it's great,
to our
huh?
nation's
Inspiration,
destruction.
huh? You know?
They are men and
Good.
women, currently
Glad
1,000
you're here.
strong,
Yeah.
who remember why they went to law school, to serve the truth, not the tyrant.
Yes.
They are taking up legal arms in order to restore constitutional order, filing lawsuits, pressing charges, exposing criminals and rogues, and the individuals that once walked the hallowed walls of our house. They become criminals now too. They are backing every lawful effort, including those of Washington, D.C., to clean house and drain the swamp. You're in D.C. fighting for truth, we will stand with you. But if you're not, if you're protecting the deep state, if you're silencing whistleblowers, if you're complicit in the rot, you are going down with the ship. This is the will of the American people. And you can feel it now, can't you? The tide is turning, The people are rising. There's no stopping what's coming next. They told us we were divided, that we were isolated, that we were powerless. That was a lie. We are not divided. We are 80% united. We all want clean homes, real justice, social courts, and peaceful communities.
I found
white,
found
rich,
this.
poor.
Yep.
We all want the
On
same thing. We've
August
just been
30th of
manipulated into thinking that
2023,
we're different.
okay?
But the illusion is
Okay.
dead now.
Walking with
The
my dog.
propaganda
Yep. I
machine
saw
is
it.
collapsing.
Saw it.
The corporate media
A
is a
glint.
corpse propped up by corruption.
Shining right in my eyes. The
And
sun
we
was
are
setting down
replacing it.
on the river, North River.
here's
okay?
another
on the Hanover side.
Behind the
okay?
scenes, we are building
like,
United Media Coalition.
It was
a
on the
truth-driven
embankment,
alliance
and that's what I
of citizen
unearthed.
journalists,
That.
networks,
Huh.
Jesus, okay?
broadcasters, and
Over here,
platforms.
I found this. This is John Baptist. In 12 during the
They won't be able to censor us.
Crusades.
They won't be able to ignore us. The light is coming, and it is going to burn. And to every black
What?
watching and listening, we invite
Yeah.
you to stand up. We are
Down
not
a little
here to
bit.
take over your mission. We are here to amplify it. And if your charter is rooted in truth and liberty, we will lift you up. We'll give you legal support. We'll give you reach. We'll give you. This movement is not about ego. It is about survival, of truth, of family, of country, of soul.
That's what
Because we are not just
Oh, no, you weren't. I think, thank you.
we are facing spiritual rot, and the only cure for rot is right. So let this moment be remembered. Let this date be carved this date be carved into the stone of our history. April 24th, 2025 in Boston, Massachusetts, where liberty was first. The American people declare once more, we will not kneel, we will not cower, and we will restore our republic. With God as our witness and the Constitution as our sword, we rise now, not as victims, but as sovereigns. This is the reckoning, this is the rising.
Yes, you want me to do something?
And now it is my pleasure to introduce my partner, Ann Vandersteel. She's an incredible journalist. Many of you, I'm sure, have seen her fearless reporting from Panama and down on the border. Ann has never been afraid of the truth. And come on up, Ann.
Ann Vandersteel is also a co-founder of the American Made Foundation, American Made Action. She's got a massive following on social media. Honestly, both her and Maureen, I'm not saying it to stroke their ego. You're looking at two of the finest, bravest, really most brilliant, courageous citizen journalists in the country. So they're announcing not just Doja, but this new media offensive for an alternative media. This is serious. And I'm telling you, the moment is now ripe. Watch. This is going to spread like wildfire. So please, Cooner Country, let's give Ann a very warm Cooner Country welcome.
Good afternoon, Boston. You guys rock. I'm just so honored to fly up here today. I love
Thank
this
you.
town. I love your food. I love your people. I don't love your government.
Right.
Let's just get that right out of the way.
Right. It's systemic government,
broadcasting.
therefore Muslims.
8 to 10 years. I
The Quran.
jumped in this game fearlessly because
And what do they say? Be Decepticons. That's what they say.
Cable TV was not
In there.
for me back in the day. Here we are
I asked
now, and
Alexa.
I've never looked back, and I'm
Jesus.
only looking
So
forward on how we're going to
mythical.
save this country.
All right.
So instead of daily shows,
The truth
Yeah.
shall set you
not
free.
looking back, looking forward, and stepping
All right.
away from the
Bumblebee.
mic of the daily show to let great
Honey.
people like Jeff
See, that almost didn't fell down.
You want honey?
American Made Foundation is
Pure.
born because we need to make sure
Okay, it
you all
lasts
understand your rights. How many know the Constitution is a trust indenture, that we are supposed to be the beneficiaries of the Constitution and the government is the trustee? Folks, the fact of the matter is, we're the trustees and they're taking all the money. They're the beneficiaries. It's
That's right, in their ivory towers.
And it ends today. This is the shot for the second revolution, and we're starting with taking down these unconstitutional agencies. The Department of Children and Families is nothing but a department of
Exorcism.
clueless and classless frauds. They are stealing your money, your
They need an
children,
exorcism.
your livelihood, and your life.
They're an existential threat.
Blood-sucking evil demons.
That's right.
I have not heard a story yet that says
Super
ooh, they did
parasites.
something good. And that's the truth. I'm looking at this sign right here. This man's holding destroying children and families. That's what DCF is.
Yep.
We're going to stop that. You know, they say
They're foot soldiers of the
a
state.
rising tide lifts all boats. Well, when Paul Revere said, one if by land, two if
You know
by
who
sea,
said that?
I see two right now. Because we
Governor
are
Bradford
boats
said
on the
that.
sea, but we're
What?
going to get our feet
Governor
back on
Bradford
the
said what
land
she
where
said
we
right
belong,
now.
because the Constitution
Okay.
is for all.
Plymouth Mess.
And the Rivera family have had those rights.
And Reagan said it as well.
They had the doors busted in, they held up by gunpoint, and their children terrorized by a completely rogue and unconstitutional agency. I challenge anybody to look at the Constitution right now and find any one of the government agencies listed
An
anywhere
8-year-old
in our
modicum of
Constitution.
intelligence.
Yeah.
U.S. code.
No,
All
you're
those
double
numbers and decimal points that sound
What?
intimidating.
You're double eight.
Those are
8
rules
times 2
for
equals-
them. That 10 square miles
times
of
2
corporate
equals
autocracy in
16?
Washington, D.C.
Or
8 times
That's
2
their law.
equals
That's their
16.
legislative democracy. That U.S. code applies to them. It has nothing to do with us standing right here in the Republic.
This has been recording for 46 minutes so far.
Good.
From that nonsense. We are going to use
Yeah.
their fiction, their stuff made up, their legal fiction under these rogue administrative laws and agencies, and we're going to flip the tables like Jesus on their heads, and we're going to go after them using their code. And we're holding them accountable to all the laws they've broken, not only statutorily, which applies to them, but constitutionally, which protects us. The Rivera family had their religious rights thrown out the window. They've had their rights to privacy and keeping their things. The Fourth Amendment thrown out the window. Due process, Fifth, thrown out the window. Trial by jury, 6, thrown out the window. Speedy trial, 7, and then it goes on to 8, etc. This is unacceptable at this point. We are 250 years old. Have we learned nothing in 250 years? Have we learned a lot in the last 4, thanks to COVID?
Yes!
There's a silver lining in this horrific 4 years when they shoved mandates in our face. We couldn't help but see how they unmasked themselves. The evil behind the bioweapon. The evil behind the fact that they're going to force vaccinate you, and if you work for a big corporation that's saddled up with that, they're absolutely going to force you into doing it or you lose your job.
Yes.
The tables are turning, the lawsuits are coming, and I'm also working closely with the J6 community because I have a lot of friends I talk to regularly that were in prison. I was there that day and I will tell you, we didn't do anything wrong. The Fed's direction. By the way, to the friendly FBI that's out here today monitoring this situation, thank you for taking me off the domestic terror list. I can now fly without being taken to second base 6 times a week by the TSA. I appreciate you. My great-grandfather who fought in the Revolutionary War appreciates you for at least giving me back my freedom. My right to travel is a freedom. I am entitled to that, and so are you. The problem we are faced today, folks, is we don't know what our rights are, and we think privileges are rights. These illegals coming across the border, and I've seen hundreds of thousands of them because I've been to the Texas border, I've been down to the jungles and the Darien Gap with famous war reporter Michael Yon many times, spent months down there. I can tell you they're afforded far more rights when a rogue judge, Boasberg, is telling the executive branch to turn a plate around. Are you kidding me? But yet they're going to lock up a family because they said no to a shot? Show me where in the law you have to vaccinate anybody. Can anybody show me this? I don't exist. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Okay. I want to just touch on a couple of things here because I want to make sure I get these points out. DCF derives its power from legislative acts, none of which override due process. That means due process, your Fifth Amendment, your constitutional right. Nothing can override the Constitution. That is the highest law in the land. There's God,
there's us, and that we created government and corporations. They cannot override your right to a trial by jury. Mr. Rivera has not seen any of that yet, or the fundamental rights secured by your own United States, Massachusetts Constitution, nor do administrative tribunals constitute courts of record. These family law courts are nothing more than judge, jury, and executioner. You have no representation, you have everything stripped, and oh, by the way, you pay for it. All of this you pay for. Everything, every right that's taken from you, you are paying for it. This is the point of American Aid Foundation. We are coming together, media, law, people of all shapes, sizes, and colors, and denominations, and jobs, it doesn't matter. Because God
However,
made
I
us
know how
free.
they
He gave us
do it.
dominion over the earth, the Bible
So, but we need to
Listen,
continue to get the
dear
word out,
Obadiah.
okay?
We have the
More-
right to rule over. He said, take care of my land, my oceans, my
to this
my
tyranny. It is
water,
been a tyranny, and it
air.
wasn't just
He
happened
wants all of it
yesterday.
taken care of.
Absolutely,
LAW, land,
yes.
air, water. That is the fundamental
Eric.
law book.
Nice to meet you.
Violate that every day.
Richard, nice to meet
These
you.
people
Thank
in
you.
here violate
And they're
every
right there.
day.
Okay.
We're going to the Department
I'm gonna get
of
some more
Justice
people.
on 6 May at 12 noon to stand in D.C. on those steps. Jeff Cooner, we'd love to see you there. We are telling those folks there the same thing. American Made Foundation and American Made Action. We want to tell the people their true rights, their God-given rights, and how they can protect themselves and defend themselves from an overreaching and tyrannical government. I want to also take a second to thank some of the most important people out there right now.
We're gonna have an arrow
We have
over here,
people
pointing
like
over here.
Jeff Cooner, who without this and making this broadcast out to his massive Cooner country following, you all wouldn't be here. Getting the education that you need. I want to thank all the partners that are coming to American Made Action to partner up with us in media, to partner up with us in law, and to just learn more through our foundation about their rights. I want to thank We the People too. .us, the other banner to my right here, We the People 2.us. We have a lot of their action steps that you can take. You can file affidavits, you can file notices, and you can serve these scumbags behind us the information that they need to know to protect your rights. Because no longer do we serve them. These people up there in the balcony are looking down on you. And I mean, they're looking down on you. This ends. They win over us. These are our public servants. These are our public servants. They are supposed to be taking direction. Why does it take years and years and years of begging, sir, please may I have another? It shouldn't take years to get what we want done. They should just do it. It's so simple. MAGA, you know what? This isn't even a Trump thing. This is a people thing. This is not left or right. This is about God's rights that he bestowed upon his children. It's that simple, it's that fundamental. Don't let them make it complicated. It doesn't need complicated. I want to thank you all very much today for this opportunity to be here and speak with you guys. Jeff Cooner, you're amazing. Joe Quinn-Eastman, you're amazing. Maureen, I couldn't do this without this incredible woman. Not even possible. But please, support organizations like American Made Foundation. It's a 501c3. Support organizations like American Made Action. We need the support because we are funding these federal lawsuits. And I'm going to let... You want to drop the phone? Yeah, Chris do it. Okay, we'll let Chris drop the ball.
I just wanted to say what an honor it is to have worked in the trenches, shoulder to shoulder with these two incredible women for 2 years. All for nothing but blood, sweat, and tears and love of country. Really urge you to support their effort because they are onto something really, really big. We are restoring our republic. It's coming back to us thanks to women like this. Thank you so much.
Take it away, Maureen.
I would like to introduce the director of the United Law Coalition, which is 1,000 strong and growing. This is the largest legal movement in our national history. This has never happened before, probably never will again. I hope it doesn't. I hope we never need to be here again. Chris Burns, come on up. This is attorney Christopher Burns. He practices in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. He's a federal lawyer.
My name is Christopher Burns. I'm a constitutional attorney, board member of American Action in the Department of Accountability, and the director of the United Law Coalition. I hear you. I went to law school because I believe that as
meant to protect the innocent, uphold justice. That's what the law is supposed to do. But after 23 years of actually practicing law, I've come to the conclusion that there's a way to stop the court system. The reality is the profession has been hijacked by bureaucrats and corrupted by politics. Today, some law schools don't even require a course for constitutional law. Constitutional law is an elective, like the Catholic school. Instead, new attorneys are trained in codes, policies, protocols, and administrative law, policies which are contrary to the Constitution. Every state constitution and every judicial officer pledges their fidelity to the Constitution, yet laws in violation of the Constitution are passed and enforced every day. Judges rubber stamp administrative recommendations, police forces, administrative codes. Evidence is replaced by emotion, all in the violation of the Constitution and your fundamental rights. The Mighty Law Coalition was formed because countless attorneys like me have had enough. Quietly over the past 7 months, we've been organizing a network of attorneys now numbering over 1,000 strong. We have made amicus briefs.
You're welcome to have it.
Our next case, and this is what Maureen may be referring to, our next case is right here in Massachusetts regarding the Rivera family against Child Protective Services and all parties involved keeping the Rivera children away from their parents. If you have been victimized by Child Protective Services, find someone like you. There are people, there's a whole network that will help you. Don't go over, don't play dead. Today, we learn the law and all about other people. Thank you very, very much, Chris. Look, my friends, we are going to take our country back. And I'm telling you, it's a groundswell all across the entire country. It's not just here in Massachusetts, it's not just across New England. It's literally in the heartland in all 50 states. And what has now happened is that the people now sense that the government is corrupt, that it's out of control, out of touch, and they have to understand once and for all, like Ansel brilliantly said, we don't work for them, they work for us. So, okay, Jonah, who would you like me to introduce next? Mike King, another good guy. Here's a real culture warrior. Mike King from the Mass Family Institute. Mike, thank you very much.
Well, thanks for coming out. I want to talk to you about parental rights. How many of you guys are concerned about parental rights here in Massachusetts? How many of you know a kid that's into public school? Maybe you're a grandparent, a parent. I want to talk to you about what we can do, how we can work together to protect your kids. I hope you'll be encouraged. I want to start in the town of Sutton. You guys know where Sutton, Massachusetts is? A year ago, a drag queen showed up unannounced to the Sutton High School and danced in front of minors. Would that maybe upset you if your minor child was watching that at school and you didn't even know about it? Well, so many parents got upset, and guess what they did? They rallied together, and long story short is they flipped their school board, okay, and ultimately got rid of their superintendent.
It's been almost an hour now.
This can be done in Massachusetts, and we want to help you do it at the Massachusetts Family Institute. Well, there's now Sutton 2.0, I like to call it, and that's in the town of Burlington. Some of you guys know where Burlington, Massachusetts is, not too far from here. So if you've been listening to the radio recently, we've been getting some press on this. So the school had given a survey to minors, 6th graders, 11-year-olds, 10-year-olds, right? With very inappropriate material, like, when's the last time you had a drink? Or how about this? Have you ever had anal or oral sex? To a 6th grader. And this is even more egregious, that parents actually opted out of the survey, and it was still given to the kids. So on behalf of the children, we have filed federal complaints to threaten their federal dollars at the Burlington Public School. And we want you to know that we are there for you. We just launched the Massachusetts Liberty Legal Center. This is a pro bono First Amendment attorney organization for your First Amendment rights. All right? So if you need help with your First Amendment rights, I want you to text, if you know how to text a keyword to a short code, I want you to text LEGAL to 87891. Text LEGAL to 87891. We want to make sure that your First Amendment rights are protected. We're also, lastly, I just want to tell you, we're putting together an alliance. Would you think it's important that we have, these rallies are great, but if we don't do anything about it, right, then it means nothing. So we want to make alliances in all 351 towns and cities. Would that be a good idea? Right? So when your school committee gets out of bounds, we have people that can not only run for school committee, but we have people that do something. All right, so we already have 100 towns and cities represented on our alliance with over 140 people, and we want to add to that. So if you're interested in being part of the Massachusetts Parents Unite Alliance, I want you to come up to me today and let's get you signed up, and let's change Massachusetts one town at a time. Thanks so much.
So what you can see now is starting to happen. You've got grassroots organizations, state organizations, national organizations. It's really all starting to come together. And look, I always say this, the most powerful weapon in the world is the truth. All we have to do is speak it. And if we speak it, I'm telling you, we will win. We will win. And by the way, just so that you know how grotesque some of this is. Right, the big Supreme Court case just a couple days ago, Mahmoud Taylor, I talked about it on the show, about whether parents should have the opt-out if there's sexual content or transgender content that they feel is inappropriate for their children. I wanted to do the Burlington story. I'm serious, I wanted to do it. It's local, it's getting a lot of national attention. Fox, Newsmax have picked up on it. Mike King's people, Massachusetts Family Institute, have been all over it for incredible work. I couldn't do it. You know why I couldn't do it? Because if I say oral or anal sex on the air, I'm serious. I get a multi-million-dollar fine, FCC's breathing down my neck, and I probably am out of a job. So my point is, think about this. I'm not trying to brag. But here is one of the biggest shows, not just in Boston, millions of people streaming across the country. Mostly here, this audience, right? Adults, kids, primarily adults. And I literally cannot describe to you what they're asking 6th graders, 10, 11-year-old kids, because it is so explicit, so obscene, so graphic. iHeart's going to get hit with a multi-million-dollar fine, and the corner man's out of a job. I mean, just think of how insane that is. So, and these people are patting themselves on the back. No, really, and it's not going to stop. It's only going to get worse. And mark my words, this is, if we don't stop this, and I'm telling you, that's why we're going to win. Because it's 2024. They've gone too far. This is such grotesque overreach. This is such extremism. Frankly, it's insane. It's perverse. It's sick. The majority of people, even in a blue state like Massachusetts, don't want it for their kids. Period. Full stop. And honestly, the only other two things left is pornography. Like, I mean, just, show the video and just see them. It's like, hey, look, kids, what do you think? What do you think? And I'm telling you, they're going to push pedophilia. You look, you go to some of these school libraries, I'm telling you, go to some of these school libraries, high school kids, holy mackerel. It's close. It's very close to adults having intercourse with young kids. Forgive me. Having intercourse with young kids. So what I'm telling you is, it's Epstein Island. Yeah, that's what it is. They're trying to mainstream and normalize the perversion that is rampant in Hollywood, rampant among many politicians, and rampant in Washington, D.C. And we, the silent majority, are telling them now, we are not going to be silent anymore. Hands off our kids. Whose children? Whose children? Whose children? Okay, Joan.
Hey, Marvin Hill, are you listening?
Greg what? Greg Hession, my bad. All right, listen to this. You want to see how bad DCF is? I love this guy. In a non-sexual way. I love you. Listen to this. DCF is so freaking out of control. You know who I have beside me right here? This handsome man. He's got more hair than I do, but let that go. Who doesn't have more hair than me? All right, Greg Hession. He's a lawyer at DCF. Against DCF, forgive me. A lawyer against DCF who is so disgusted by what's going on. This is the guy you need to contact. Greg, please.
Hello, everybody. My part of this is to tell you about the enemy. I'm going to tell you I spent 30 years defending parents against the Department of Children and Families, or as one mother called it, the Department of Cruelty and Failure. So, I'm going to tell you some things about what these people back here have done to us. And most of us don't know these things. First of all, there is no deeper state than the deep state of DCF. And the part we never see is the federal part. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, because without that, it would grind to a halt immediately. It's not just these guys. It's Washington as well. We're going to get to that in a second. But let me tell you a little bit about what this agency does. Okay, this agency has 4,000 employees. At any one time, they have around 10,000 children in the Commonwealth in captivity. 10,000 children. In this state, nationwide, about 500,000 children are in captivity at any one time. You hear this? This is how bad it is, folks. All right. So, in the Commonwealth, my calculation, by seeing what the statistics that they themselves put out, about a third of the families in the Commonwealth have had some interaction with DCF over the time that they've had children. Let me tell you a little bit about that. About 80,000 people right now in the Commonwealth are involved with DCF in some level, some the families, okay? And 100,000 people every year call what I call the snitch hotline. They call it the child abuse and neglect hotline. 100,000 per year people call that hotline. Get their neighbors in trouble, their family in trouble, their ex in trouble that they hate, their neighbor in trouble. Okay, so I'm going to suggest in a moment what some of the fixes are for this. But it's very important to know what's really behind this. What's really behind this is what's going on in Washington. It's the money. The administration of children and families. Nobody even knows who they are. There's this gigantic bureaucracy the size of a city that funds this stuff. And back in the 1970s, they said, aha, we're going to homogenize this, and we're going to bribe all the states to put together their own DCF. And every single state complied. They send them a boatload of cash as long as they have done it their way, with the snitch hotline, with the warehousing of children, and all the other things that DCF does. Now, one of the things that they do is they have an evaluation process. They have 7 factors that they have to evaluate. They've been doing this since they started. Believe it or not, no state has ever once passed the evaluation, ever. Ever. Not one, ever. And yet, even though they say unless it passes you don't get your money, they give them money. Of course they give them money. And it's billions just for this state by the time they add it all up, because they get all these kids, they put them in special ed, they give them drugs, and more drugs, they send them to the shrinks, they do everything. 5-year-old, of course, needs a shrink. Probably because they took him from mom and dad. So, behind all that money that's coming from Washington, if they didn't have that money, forget it. They couldn't run this hellhole of an agency. So, what's the solution? Well, there's a few. The first thing they could do, and this is back here that could do it, and it would only take a flick of a pen. They could open up the juvenile court process to the press and the public. It's secret. It's a star chamber. It's a secret court system that nobody can get into. The second thing that they could do is change the definition of abuse and neglect. Right now, I have stood in front of a judge several times who said, literally, from the bench, if parents fight in front of their children, it's abuse. And she will take the kids. She has taken the kids. We need to change the definitions to conform with reality. Now, when we say take, think about this. This other case that we've talked about, the Rivera case. I have, in my 30 years, I've seen the police come and take the door. Ninja, jail people, kill children, this place, the worst thing we could ever do. So let me suggest a couple of fixes. First, and the other thing they can do is separate the warehousing function from the kidnapping function. Whether you know it or not, there are roving bands of kidnappers that go all around the Commonwealth from this agency and work all night, especially on Friday and Saturday nights. That's when they love to kidnap. So they're out, they'll come at 3 in the morning or 1 in the morning, knock on your door, take the kids out of bed, and they will warehouse them for an average of 2 years. Why? Because the federal incentives are 5 to 1 for kidnapping and keeping the children, as opposed to trying to keep the kids in the home and helping the parents if they need it. Okay? The federal incentives are what drive this. The suits downtown know this, and they're going for the bucks. So, taking the kids makes the money, and that's what they're going to do. Another thing we can do is get juries and due process back in the system. There's no due process at all. You can just take the kids. It's something they gleefully call, euphemistically call, administrative law. Well, there is no such thing. Administrative law is just a bunch of guys sitting around saying, we don't like what you do, so we're taking the kids. And that's the end of it. Now, many of the people have stood up here and said, we're fighting. We must. But just keep in mind, it's hard to fight against that. It's hard to fight against a bunch of faceless bureaucrats in earless rooms who make these decisions. And these people up here, and I've gone to many of these hearings, and by the way, just as an aside, Jim Lyons is the only guy that's ever been at any of these hearings that helped us. So thank you. I hope this helps. Know what the enemy looks like.
This man is a font of knowledge. Every time I talk to him, thank you so much for your passion. We're all here because we're outraged at the treatment of this family, right? He has a website called Mass Outrage, and he's also a regular contributor to BostonBroadside.com. And by the way, we have complimentary copies of Boston Broadside here. Please take them. He talks about steps you can take. It can start by going over there, reading and signing a notice. The notice is due process. We give the government the due process they're denying us. And Jeff, if you don't mind, I'd like to introduce you to a few people right now. I'm going to call up a bunch of people because at the core of this story with the Riveras is that DCF assumed that they were going to do things, and they were stopped because they could have done something, but it wasn't imminent danger enough to issue an Amber Alert. And when the children came back to Massachusetts and were checked out, they were all in perfectly good health. And yet there are all these rumors going around that the baby was severely neglected, that the father's unstable because the father actually knew his rights and spoke them. And I truly believe that this is why he is being persecuted, because he's telling the truth and they don't want you to know it. And right now, Jeff, if you don't mind, I'd like to introduce several people who have also been subjected to the same thing. Come on up here. Sue Ioni is a J6er. She actually went to jail. Samson Machapa, come on up here, also a J6er and a lawyer. He's having an issue with the New Hampshire Bar. And Catherine Vitale and Sean Nelson, come on up here. Let me tell you, each one of these people, just like the Vieras, has been lied about. The law has been used against them with no proof. This cannot stand. We cannot let people be persecuted, and we can't let the law be used against them. The law is here for us. The law works for us. So, Sue, do you want to say a quick word? You want me to give it to Sam?
Hi, thanks everybody for coming out. This is so important. And yeah, remember when Trump said, they're not after me, they're after you. We're just standing in the way. I felt the brunt of that after January 6, 2021. We were allowed into the Capitol by police who welcomed us in. Now, even a lot of people said, I just use the bathroom. These people went to jail. Prison. I went to prison. A medium security prison for listening to the police, doing everything they said. Oh yeah. Someone said, when we got inside, I guess somebody said USA, so I'm like, good, USA. So, you know, I'm a real thug. You know, I thought that was First Amendment, but whatever. They said we were there to Congress. They said we were there to overturn an election. They had no proof of any of this. Not only that, you cannot overturn an election by showing up.
Yeah, I'm standing right here. Awesome. Still filming it. It's been an hour and 17 minutes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Started, I think. Started right as Jeff Hooner started speaking. That started the video, I think.
This woman is such a great patriot. She is my all of this. You know what? People like Sue Ioni, Catherine Vitale, Ryan Foley, well, not so much you, Ryan, because you're so young. Sean Nelson, we've all been through the ringer. And the key in all of it is that they are being persecuted without proof. The same way the Rivera family is. The same way this father's been separated from his child, his children, his 5 children, who he homeschools. He told me, I am so scared about my children. I can't imagine what they're doing without me. I'm so
not yet. Getting there.
Can you imagine that pain? This is just cruel and unwarranted punishment, and we must make it
You were
stop.
over there. I saw you.
Transition over to somebody who's helped many DCF cases before. This is Samson Machapa, also a colleague of Sue Ioni's. They were at J6 together, and because of his political stance, he's lost huge accounts. And, oh, we heard about him. He's this and that. Oh, we heard he's the white supremacist. We heard there's an article on BostonBroadside.com about Samson Machapa being shut out, asking about. Why should he have to ask any of these permission to practice law? But what's happened is Samson has just received an important document that he wanted to open live here on the State House steps today.
Thank you, Joe. I will not take much of your time at all. I know it's hot. I just want to share with you real quick that I went to law school because I did not like what was going on in the United States with the loss of our rights, the things that we were told that we had here, the right to free speech, the right to practice religion, the right to petition our government. It's all disappearing, and it bothered me as a military veteran. So I went to law school. I said, how can I make a difference? clearly politics is not where it's at. I tried, it's all corrupt, and I gave up very quickly. So I went to law school and I passed the bar in 2022. First time around. And then I was notified that you're still not going to be able to practice the law because of something called character and fitness. And I don't want to get into that because I can't talk about it. I want to thank you, Joan, for covering the story. Maureen, I have not met you in person, but you wrote a wonderful story as well, and thank you. And what this is a decision from the New Hampshire Supreme Court. I just got it yesterday. I wasn't even going to talk about it today, but I figured I'll open it in front of this crowd and tell you whether I'm a lawyer or not. This is going to be an order that says either I'm a lawyer or I have to go through a continued process with the New Hampshire Supreme Court where I convince them that I should be a lawyer. So here we go.
Hey Jeff, we need a drum roll. We need a drum roll. Samson has made himself available and he's continued with his patriotic activities despite all the obstacles. And well, let's see what this says. I'm excited.
I've heard so many horror stories since I got involved in law, and it bothers me that I can't even help these people. But here we go. In the matter of unnamed bar applicant, that's a good sign. The two orders are being resent on this date to an updated address. Who, on or before May 22nd, 2025, Samson Rachapi shall show cause by a written response filed with this court why his application for admission to the New Hampshire bar should not be denied. So that means I'm not an attorney. I have to convince the court why I should be an attorney. That's what this is. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still just a paralegal, but I will help however I can. Thank you very much.
He's fantastic. It takes knowing the law, it takes knowing the process, and it also takes stepping up. And right now we're going to introduce 3 people who are all stepping up. This woman right here and this man right here did a huge protest. We were all at the DCF downtown Boston a few years ago to protest the removal of our beloved Rabbi Greens. They were trying to take 6 of his children. Very, very similar story to the Rivera story. And Sean was also at the DCF rally in Lawrence. The mother and daughter who spoke before, they were all the same people. We were there trying to protect a baby from getting the shot against the will of his father, Nathaniel. And Sean was arrested. These 3 have all been arrested. This is Brian Foley over here, and Brian has a quick announcement before you hear from Catherine Vitale and Sean Nelson, and all 3 of them has taken it to another level. They have stepped up and they've run for Boston City Council. Sean's running now, Brian's running now, Catherine ran last year, she's handling Sean's campaign now. This is just awesome. And you guys know this is okay, all right, so Brian, so we did a story in the Boston Broadside about Brian. Did you hear about that? He was in South Boston, his town, with his Trump flags. He was beat up by 15 people for carrying a Trump flag. He was pummeled. We saw all his injuries online. I wrote this big story. I felt like, he was part of my family for 2 weeks doing this story and calling him in the middle of that. Then he disappeared. Tell him why.
So after the attack, it was so close in proximity to the election that the national campaign wanted me to take a step back, make sure I was healthy, make sure I was good. Because the news started showing that I was the aggressor. I was the violent one. Yet they had a BK security camera footage corroborating my story. I got sent to the hospital on spinal injury, a box cutter across my throat. They let all these kids go. Their parents were involved, and they did nothing. So that's why I stepped up and I ran. Because 2 days later, a 65-year-old woman was attacked at a Taco Bell up the street, literally 2 blocks from where I was attacked. My city council did nothing. Who did nothing? And this city is on fire, and it's time we put it out and we make it great again. I stopped talking because the national team stopped me too, but that's it. I'm done. I don't work for Trump anymore. I'm my own individual. I'm my own candidate. I'm running Boston like it should be run. I took his phone call and he gave me the advice, the knowledge, and the schooling that I needed to get this done. I didn't want money. I'm not in this for money. I'm willing to donate a full $100,000 out of my salary back into my community where it needs to go. I'm only taking $25,000 of that salary if I win.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. All right, come over here, Catherine. Look, we got Catherine Vitale here. And Catherine daughter Baby. You want to come stand over next to Sean? Come on over here, Sean. So these two, as I just mentioned, are activists, and they're walking the walk. They're not talking the talk. So Catherine, I'm going to hand it over to you now. And Jeff, just to remind you, Catherine was the caller before me the other day. Have you met her before? Yeah. So now you know Catherine. Everyone knows Catherine.
Hi. So first of all, I have my prop baby here today because if Michelle Wu can carry a prop baby around every day, I can too. So my name is Catherine Vitale. I'm from Boston originally, and I ran for Boston City Council in 2023. I've been an activist for 5 years, and now I'm a homeschooling mom on welfare. The reason why I got involved in politics and the reason why I'm on welfare is because of DCF. DCF tore apart my family back in 2018. I had a case in 2015 that was open and shut with no problems. And then in 2018 they came back and I wasn't aware of my rights. So they took my 2 children away from me. My children were ages 4 and 2 at the time. They had them for 5 months. I was able to get them back. So many would say that I was lucky because in a lot of cases, most cases where they take your children away, you don't get them back. But I did, and I believe that God put my family through that experience so that I could talk about it, so that I could help people with their experiences. And my children are with me now, and they're fine. But since 2020, I've been a political activist, protesting everything from vaccines to Michelle Wu. Sean and I have both been arrested for peacefully protesting Michelle Wu. She put our names on a hit list and sent it to the police, and then they started brutalizing us and arresting us. Back in 2022, we were protesting in front of her house. They actually passed a city ordinance legislation to ban us from protesting in front of her house, and then they arrested us. When those cases started, I miraculously, coincidentally, got a new DCF case, and I don't believe in coincidences. But so I got a new DCF case in 2022. But the difference in 2022 was that now I knew my rights, so they weren't going to get my kids again. And I went through, I think, 3 or 4 different attorneys with the case in 2022. That case lasted a year, and I ended up firing the attorneys and representing myself. And they did try twice to file for temporary custody, and they failed. And I represented myself, and I won that case. I also want to say that for my arrest in front of Michelle Wu's house, myself and my co-defendant, Shannon, who's not here today, our case was going on for 2 years. They dragged us to court for a disturbing the peace charge in front of Michelle Wu's house. And we eventually did fire our attorney, and we represented ourselves at a jury trial, and we won that too. So if I could say anything of impact today to you guys is the most important things that you can do for your children are to know your rights, to get them out of government schools. They shouldn't be in schools. It's your responsibility to take care of your child. Stop dropping your children off to strangers, please. If you need help and you're not sure how to start homeschooling or how to afford homeschooling, I'm on welfare. I don't know how to do it either, but I'm doing it. I'm homeschooling my children because I don't see any other option. I have to do it. So if I have to be poor to do that, I will. And you have to speak up. You can't come to a rally like this and then go home and pat yourself on the back. I mean, thank you for coming, honestly, but you can't pat yourself on the back just for showing up today. You got to do more. You got to do more. And if you don't know what to do, please find a way to contact me and I can help you. I can help you figure out what to do. Run for office or work for somebody, volunteer for somebody who's running for office, or show up at local meetings. You have to do more. Everybody, we all have to do more. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you so much. And so now I'd like to introduce Sean Nelson, who I mentioned is involved in a lot of the protests that they do. Sean Nelson served in the United States Marine Corps, and he is running for Boston City Council District 7.
Everybody. Like Catherine said, my little background, born and raised in Boston, English high school graduated.
eventually, joined the Marine Corps. Unfortunately, my time was short. Don't ask, don't tell. Eventually, I became a nursing assistant. I worked through the pandemic. I was there day one. They were calling us heroes, showing up to work. I've had patients leaving me here when it was all like, get sick. It was nothing. But yet, when Biden got into office, he tried to tell people like me who showed up to work while he was sitting home in his basement, take the shot. And as a medical professional, I'm a person, I'm cautious. Give me some time, let me go see what would happen. They couldn't stand that. But yet the mayor down the street claimed that my body, my choice, when it's for abortion, but when I choose something from my own body, no, we're gonna twist your arm. We're gonna make you take it. And it's like, that can happen. I'm 46 years old. I remember these little programs on TV that told you to stand up for your rights, not to be a follower, but they seem not to actually care. As someone who's black, gay, a nursing assistant, and a vet, these are the same people who will come on TV and support me. But then when I said no, they turned against me. Like my friend Catherine said, they made me look like I'm a black thug who's coming after me with knives and guns. It's like the only thing I've ever done is stood my ground, even when they sent Boston police and the state troopers after me, never backed down. But these were the same people who were telling me, well, we love you, you're accepted, you're welcome. But when I said no, they turned their backs on me and became vicious. Today, I literally just came from court when I had my constitutional rights violated, tackled to the ground in front of Michelle Wu because I chose to use a megaphone at a distance in the wall in front of Boston police because she did not like what I said. How are you about choice, but yet you're making people take a vaccine for their jobs, and the next thing I know, I have over about 6 police officers tackling me to the ground with Michelle Wu basically watching and walking past. These are the same people that say they're different from everybody else, but when you challenge them, they become hypocrites, they become tyrants. And I want to let you know, it's possible. My friend Catherine and a few of our friends, we reopened the State House during the vaccine passport. That was us. We opened it not once, but twice. It was less than 10 people who held our ground. They got embarrassed because they weren't expecting people to stand up because they know that we're all quiet. We want to stay on our keyboards. We don't know our rights. The second time that we fully opened up the State House to the people, no masks, no vaccine, that was at my cost of my freedom and another friend. We got arrested for peacefully protesting to get into our State House that we pay for, the People's House. And we were arrested, and that arrest reopened the State House fully. As Catherine, I was in the DCF in Lawrence for a father. DCF called the police claiming that they were in danger. We were on peacefully protesting on the sidewalk. But because I challenged the police officer and called him out on what he was saying, you're arrested. And that arrest, once again, I'm now in court, will be in May. They actually they arrested another woman. They broke her ribs, and she was just standing there telling them, what is he doing wrong? But because you challenged them, they become cowards. But I want everyone to know, I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. They also took away a gun license, even though she did not have it on her. It was concealed, she never even pulled it out, but they pulled it. I want everybody to know, it will be hard work, they will challenge you, and they will threaten you. But understand, when you come out to these protests and you challenge them, your biggest weapon is your camera and your phone. Ask the simple question. They are more afraid of us than we are of them. We have challenged more. Is someone here from the governor's office? I see, because I know a few of you were walking around taking photos for the governor. Are you going to come up here and represent her? Actually, I do recognize a few of you from my TikToks. But I'm not saying this right now. We can rise up. They are scared of the people, not us. We give them the power. They hope that you're sleeping and you won't do anything. That's why Massachusetts and Boston are running down in the grave, because they know we won't do anything. When we stand up and say no, they run and hide.
Hey, Sean, thank you so much, Catherine. Thank you. By the way, Attorney Bill Gans has helped with a lot of these cases and a lot of these situations. And Carly is now expecting a baby. I'm so happy for her. The mother had her ribs broken at the DCF protest in Lawrence. All right, Jeff, we're going to
our final speaker, I'll introduce in just a second, but I want to say this to the governor's people. And they've been taking pictures the whole time. And videotaping. And they've been trying to come after me now for a long time. You tell Holden Moore Healy, her days in office are numbered. That the people of Massachusetts are sick and tired of her mismanagement, her corruption, and her tyranny. And we've been hearing from her, but soon, come the election, you're going to hear from us. And speaking of a warrior, and I mean an absolute warrior, the police are here. And I mean the vaccine police. Where is he? There he is. All right, we've got, remember Ann and Maureen flew in all the way from Florida. Well, this guy, you can tell by his hat, came a little bit longer, a little bit farther away. This is Christopher Key from the great state of Texas.
Hold on. No. I was just in Texas. I'm from Alabama. I'm Christopher Key. The government hates me. Christ is in me, is in my name. Never forget it. Christopher. My last name is Key. K-E-Y. God's given us all the keys to open up the doors that Satan never wanted open. It is up to us together, not divided. I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're gay, I don't care what you are, I don't care if you're Jewish, I'm Catholic, I'm white, it doesn't matter. Quit letting them divide us. The shot heard around the world today, and I'll explain this here in a second, I'll come back to that. I was just in Waco, Texas. Does everybody know what happened on April 19th, 32 years ago? Our amazing government murdered 86 men, women, and 20 children. This happened on April 19th, their high holy day, and exactly 2 years later what they do. 1995, you know what happened on that same day? Oklahoma City. They are laughing at us. And it's time you guys understand this case right here is monumental. This family knows their rights. A lot of you guys don't know me because nobody can see what I do because the government hates me. They fined me hundreds of millions of dollars 11 years ago, and I have a court order for life. I can't help people in my great state of Alabama. So that's why I'm here in Boston. I've never been to Boston, but I see I got some good people here. And guys, I've been called to 4 national championships, 3 Super Bowls. I've been on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I've been on Jimmy Kimmel, Stevie Colbert, all those freaking idiots. The prostitutes, the talking parents, they've done everything they can to silence me. But I will not go away because all those things said, my greatest accomplishment in life was the day I became a father. My greatest accomplishment in life was the day I became a father. I was one of the biggest pushers of vaccines. I love vaccines. I thought they cured polio. I thought they were the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then God gave me my twins. They were born with what's called PKU. You've never heard of it. It's one of the most rare diseases on the planet. Well, my children will never, ever eat protein. No milk, no chicken, no cheese, no fish, no birthday cake, no ice cream, no beef protein, no protein. If they do, it becomes toxic, goes straight to the brain, and causes the most extreme mental retardation there is. But it was a blessing. It was such a blessing because my Lord and Savior forced me to test and prove all things. All things! Not some things, not the little things, all things. And it started with vaccines. I
I went to my doctor, and you guys bear with me, okay? You need to hear this. I went to my pediatrician, and I told him about the PKU. He said, oh my gosh, I've only read about that. I've never had a child, much less two. He says, well, Doc, we went into vaccinating my kids today. But what can you tell me about PKU and vaccines? He says, well, Christopher, I'm glad you asked. Because your kids are part of a new schedule where they're going to get 72 vaccines before they're 18 years old. I said, Doc, I had my 8. My goodness, what happened? He said, well, Christopher, I don't know. But that's the new schedule. And I said, well, Doc, I love research. You guys don't know me, but I research backwards, forwards, and sideways. I study the human temperament. That's what I did. And I said, Doc, can you show me a study that this new schedule's safe? He said, Christopher, there's thousands. No, there are tens of thousands of studies. I said, well, great. Can I see one? He said, do what? I said, can I see one of those tens of thousands of studies? He said, right now? I said, yeah. You got my precious children on the table, about to inject them. Yes. He said, Christopher, nobody's ever asked me. I said, Doc, well, I'm asking you, and I got to see it. He said, Christopher, I don't have time now, but I'll have it by your next appointment. So I said, great. So guys, 4 weeks go by. We go in. The nurse has 3 shots up for my daughter, 3 for my son. They're about to inject them. I said, ma'am, Doc was supposed to show me one. Just one of those tens of thousands of studies. Just one. I said, go get him. We got to talk. He comes in. He will not look at me. He will not look at me. He says, Christopher, there are no studies. But Christopher, they have to be safe. They've been approved by the FDA, the CDC, the AMA. You don't trust us? I'm like, hell no! So, I wrote down quick. So, again, guys, there are no studies. Please, this shot that they're trying to inject to this precious child, if you're only here, listen to one thing. 2010, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled all vaccines are unabortably unsafe. Wyatt versus Bushman, go look it up. That's why this family right here, they're standing on their religious exemptions. You guys want to spread them out, take them another day. This now is a death shot. The new mRNA technology, let me tell you this before I leave. mRNA technology, it has 7 snake venom peptides in it. It also has MRC-5. That is the aborted baby that they murdered to grow out your vaccine. It is fully intact. Fully intact. And you guys want to inject this into your child? Right now, I just left Texas. They're trying to push this measles outbreak. 3, God bless them, 3 children have died. There's 800 cases and the sky has fallen. It is an outbreak. It is another pandemic. It's another pandemic. And please, if you only listen to one thing here today, the shot heard around the world has to be no more shots. Can I hear you? No more shots! No more shots! No more shots!
No more shots! No more shots! No more shots! No more shots! No more shots!
Thank you, brother. Please, don't believe anything I've told you today. Nothing. 0, nada. I'm the least of these. I'm dyslexic, I'm ADHD, I'm LD, I'm dumb, and dumb. I am. I admit it. But I used to be bad because, number 1, I give everything to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Number two, I did this for my children. My children are 26 years old. But now, I took the gloves off. They thought I was bad before. 6 months ago, I became a grandfather. And my grandson will never, ever look at me and say, Peepaw. That's another story, Peepaw. Peepaw, why didn't you stand up? Why didn't you speak up? I'm speaking up. I'm speaking out. I got a lot more to do, and I will get it done. God through me will get it done. Will you guys stand up and speak up and stop this tyranny? Lastly, please, I help people without drugs, people with surgery. This is what they hate. Anybody has any pain in their body, I give it away for free. Come see me. ChristIsKey.life, that's my website. ChristIsKey.life. Our new news network is KNN.world, where we will show you the truth. We'll be fair and balanced. We won't be prostitutes. We won't be talking parents. We will not do the narrative. We'll give you both sides of every story, and then we will let you decide your truth. ChristIsKey.life. Love you guys.
Thank you so much, Christopher. Wow, this just shows the reach and the impact of Jeff Kuhner. He's our national treasure of truth. Listen to him every morning on 68 RKO. How about that? Jeff, thank you so much for making this happen. And isn't that something you said, this is going to be the shot heard around the world? It's because of a shot. It's because of a shot. A child being denied a shot. Jeff, I have a very special request for you. Another amazing story on Boston Broadside that was broken on Boston Broadside and went international has to do with a wonderful woman named Janet Aldrich. Do you remember you had Janet on your show? She was kidnapped, and she was medically kidnapped and stuck in the hospital, and we rallied around her and we got her out, and she is the founder of Calm Film Freelance Media. We're finally meeting. And she just wanted to come up and thank you, Jeff, and say a few words. We've been on quite an adventure together. She's 82 and going strong.
Jeff, Peter, and Joan, and many other people who are standing here, because Jeff advertised my story at the Leahy Auschwitz Asylum when I was stuck there for the 2 days off. And I survived. And John Alderson over here. I'm telling you, if I didn't have a press group in Massachusetts, I would be dead. And how many people here, you went through what I went through, didn't have a press group? Maybe everybody should put their hands up, because there were people that know me that prayed, that called the hospital. There were so many things, but I'm telling you, he is a spokesman for the soul of America. It's not when I discovered the problem is the public record law does not exist. Okay, so I'm just saying, thank you to you, Jeff, Joan. Joan is a hero. She showed up at my son's house. The letters are sitting there. Unbelievable! Yeah, 25 people came in the streets. Can we help them? And they raised $6,000 to keep me alive and unalive. Okay? So, I've got problems with stairs, and I just have, but I am really bad. God bless you all.
And thank you to everyone who showed up to rescue Janet at the beginning of COVID. She was stuck in there. They literally left her to die with no water because she refused the shot. She refused remdesivir. She is a warrior woman, and I'm so proud of you. So glad you finally got to meet Jeff. All right, so once again, before I hand it back to Jeff to close, I just want to acknowledge another person here, Karina Demerchian. I would really like you to please meet Maureen and connect with them, because we are the citizen journalists. We're the only ones telling the truth. This is a press conference. Where is the press? We invited the governor. Where is the governor? Okay, so what can you do? You can go to Greg Hession's website, massoutrage.com. You can subscribe to the Boston Broadside. Please get that paper. It's the little paper that could. It has broken so many international stories. You can listen to Jeff Kuhner every morning and learn other actions, but most importantly, get over there and sign those notices, because whoever is interested, we're going to walk into the State House and deliver those to Governor Healy now. We're starting due process with our public servants. We are putting them on notice that we are no longer tolerating this tyranny. You might wonder why I'm so impassioned about this. I'm a proud mother of 4 children, and I have been blessed with 10 wonderful grandchildren. My family is right over here. I'd like to bring them up so that you can meet them, Jeff. And please, if somebody would take a picture, because I really want Jeff to know, see the faces behind the people that he's helping. One of my grandchildren was taken by DCF. I cannot tell you what that did to our family. And it was typical playbook DCF. They pit the parents against each other, they blame one another, they separate them, they divide and conquer, just like what's happening in our country now. And we cannot stand by and let it sit. It is simply criminal. It's outrageous what they're doing. They take your children first and ask questions later. Do you think that's right? No, that's not right. And there are so many people here that have horror stories. I want you to find Janet Aldridge, find people with cameras, tell them your stories. Let's get your stories out there. Let's shine the light on this darkness. And let me tell you, the evil forces have been against us since we first talked about this, Jeff. They've thrown every obstacle in the way, right down to this speaker falling down, almost hitting this gentleman 5 minutes before we started. It's unbelievable. But we cannot be deterred by that. This is a battle between good and evil. Please go to the tables, sign the notices. Anyone who wants to walk into the State House with us and deliver them, we welcome you to do that. Engage in the process. The law is on your side, not their side. They are perverting it to use it against you. And actions like American Made Foundation and American Action and Jeff Kuhner are making a difference. So let's just keep shouting it out there from the rooftops, loud as we can.
Okay, it's obviously people are getting tired. It's very hot. So just another minute or two, we're going to sing God Bless America, and then we'll officially end the rally. I want to thank, again, Ann Vandersteel, Maureen Steele, American Made Action, American Made Foundation for sponsoring this, for their incredible, heroic work. I want to thank Joan Eastman, obviously everyone that spoke, all the speakers, but above all, from the bottom of my heart, I really mean this. I want to thank you, Kuhner Country. I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for all your incredible support. We have been together now over 10 years. We have been in the trenches. We have fought battle after battle after battle. And 2024 in many ways was the mother of all battles. And people thought it was impossible, but we did it, baby. We did it. And I'm telling you that we can win this battle as well. And what I'm so proud of is that this incredible loyal audience that keeps growing and growing by the day, we truly are the heirs of the Founding Fathers. We truly stand on their shoulders. And I remember my grandfather, one of the things he told me, and I'll never forget it, that if you're ever blessed to be an American citizen, you have won what they used to call the lottery of life. We are so honored and privileged and blessed to be Americans. Please never forget what it is to be an American, and that our fundamental God-given rights, thanks to the 1776 revolution, which is the greatest revolution and I believe the greatest event in human history. Our founding fathers fought for this very sacred principle, that our fundamental rights do not come from the government, they do not come from Maura Healey, they do not come from Marxist Michelle Wu, who, by the way, has taken over $300,000 in dirty communist Chinese money. Don't let that go. Yeah, he was Chiang Kai-shek. No, I know. Yeah, Chairman, yeah, no, I know. Yeah, that's right. Mao was a mass murderer. And so it doesn't come from PCF. It doesn't come from the state. It comes from God Almighty. And that the only reason why we have a government is because we allow them to be in power. Right. And so, and not anymore, exactly. So what we are now telling them loud and clear is that your days of corruption, your days of tyranny, your days of abuse, just like King George III, and like every other tyranny on the face of this earth, is coming to an end. Yeah! And to Healy's people in particular, with your little cameras and your little pictures like a bunch of children, I want you to know, like we told Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and now I'm telling you, Cooner Country is the tip of the spear. And also, because I know this gets really under her skin, so let me say it. To Maura Healey, to Michelle Wu, to Speaker Ron Mariano, that fraud. You can kiss my big, fat Croatian ass. I want to thank you very much. Please drive safely. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. And let us free and reunite the Rivera family. If you can, please make a donation, whatever you can give. And before we go, Christine will sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the valleys to the oceans, white with foam. Please make your way to the table. We need them signed. We're going to carry them to the Capitol.
USA, God bless.